So when it comes to the one, the only, the almighty Divock Origi, what's your stance on him? Does he stay or does he go? Right, what's going on there, everyone? Welcome back to James Redmond TV, and welcome to something that I've done before, but something that I want to bring more regularly, a LFC debate show. And I thought, you know what, the January transfer window's just opened, and I'm very interested into what you've got to say on this, because I've got a decision, and I know what I think about this situation, but I can most certainly be persuaded in a different direction by one of yous, because it's happened before where I've read the comments and it's changed my mind. That's why I love the comment section, because a lot of yous actually talk sense and it's not just nonsense. Even if I don't agree with it, you make a point, and that's what the point of this show is. Now today, like I said, the January transfer window's just opened. There's rumours flying about already. So I think it's about time we start getting on these topics. Now there's no news or anything like that, so I thought, why not just do a debate simply about one of the players that I feel like splits the fan base in Divock Origi, in terms of whether you want him to stay or you want him to go. Let me know what you think. Before I give you my answer, and before I give away what I think about the man himself, when I say, the man himself, I'm giving him that because he's a cult hero at the very, very least. You could even say he's a legend, because and people, neutrals would be like, a legend, mate. Bloody hell, is this fan really saying Divock Origi a legend? Maybe that is too far, but you've just got to think about the magnitude of games that he's scored in, and he's scored in all the big games. He scored in derbies, Champions League semi-finals, big Premier League games, Champions League finals. He scored in some of the most exciting games in Liverpool's history. So I understand that leans more towards the adjective of cult hero. But at the same time, in a lot of kids' eyes, they could look at Divock Origi as the one and the only. And there's things that come into it, why hasn't it worked out at Liverpool in terms of a consistent basis? There's many things that come into it. You can even look all the way back to when he got injured by Funes Mori, back in, I think, the 16-17 season, when we beat Everton 4-0. I was at that game, brilliant game, mate. But Funes Mori went in on Origi, and it was just as he was picking up form and started doing really well, and actually looked like he could go on and get into that first team of Liverpool, because we were playing to his strengths and it was working. So please don't get it twisted when I give you my answer. I am not disputing anything that Divock Origi has done in the Liverpool shirt. He has gave me single-handedly, easy piece of piss, he's been involved in the two most exciting games of my life. Barcelona 4-0. Dortmund 4-3, and actually the Champions League final as well. He scored in all of them games. Them three games, which at the time probably meant most to me, because Dortmund, even though it's a Europa League quarter-final, it's still a big game. Because at that time, Jurgen Klopp had just come into the club. It was against his former club in Dortmund. This was a new era for Liverpool as a club as a whole. This was a big game, and it was a big time for Divock Origi to step up, and that he very well did. And then he scored in the derby a few days later. Let's fast forward all the way to the 18-19 season, or was it the 19-20 season when he had that belter? No, it was the 18-19 season when we won the thingy. But anyway, he scores in the Barcelona game. He scores against Everton in that season as well. Obviously, dinosaur arms, just letting the ball go. But he got that goal. He got the goal against Barca. Oh, and then he sealed it off in the Champions League final. I put them games up there with some of the best games I've ever seen. Definitely Barcelona and Dortmund, and even Spurs, because 2005 was the greatest Champions League final Liverpool will probably ever have. But for me, I was 4, maybe 5 when that final happened. I was able to vividly see what was going on in front of my eyes, and I can remember near enough minute for minute what was going on in that game against Spurs. Maybe not minute for minute, because I had a few drinks, but I mean the experiences minute for minute. I remember it much more vividly than, like I said, more than the 3-3 game against AC Milan in 2005. So to me, if you're asking me what does Divock Origi mean to me, means everything, mate. But that's not the question that this debate is about. It's whether you would have him stay or whether you would have him go. If you ask me, based on the player, let's forget about circumstances that Liverpool are in terms of injuries. Let's talk about the player himself. Let's say it doesn't affect us. Let's say we can replace him. You know what I mean? Hypothetically. Would you have him stay or would you have him go? I'm going to say I'd have him go. I'd want Divock Origi to leave Liverpool based on what he is as a player. Not that I think he's a bad player, but I feel like he's someone that you've got to play to his strengths to be able to get the best out of him. And Liverpool is just in that position now where we're that good, we don't need to play to anyone's strengths. And if so, you need to be a world-class striker who will very much certainly put away your chances, and more importantly will be reliable. Divock Origi, I'm not saying he's injury prone. Like I said, that Funes Mori one, that was Funes Mori who, that was his bad. That weren't Divock Origi's fault. It's the point that I'm just trying to address to you is he's not there for the full season, and when he is in the games, do you see him getting goals game in, game out? He scores important goals, but I don't really want to throw a butt on that. He scores important goals. He scores in big moments. That's massive. Very few players have that mentality to get through that, but it's also about them little moments where it's 30 minutes into a game and you put one away to get your team in the momentum of going on and taking over that game and going on to win. Divock Origi doesn't do that. He might be good to come on and bring on in the 85th minute or the 88th minute to maybe get a goal, but realistically, since that 18-19 season, what has he really done that elevates to that or shows that he's on that level or still on that level as a super sub or as the best backup number 9? It doesn't really, it's kind of faded away. And I don't know if it's because Liverpool haven't been in as many of the big games. Obviously last year we got knocked out to Atletico Madrid, but you'd still expect to see a little bit more from him. And also, I'm not even just trying to say he doesn't score. What does he do when he's on the pitch? In the nicest way, most respectful way possible, for those who disagree with me. What does he do when he's on the pitch? Because for me, he does nothing. His pressing is very average, let's say that. I'm not saying he stands there, but even Firmino and Alisson came out and said, well, I think, it's what he's lazy. Alisson said it. He was like, who's the most... No, it was for me. Alisson asked Firmino, who's the laziest person in training? And Firmino goes, Divock. Divock. And they were being serious, they weren't... Like, they were taking the piss, but they were being deadly honest as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not just one of them things where they were joking and saying it for bands. They obviously had some truth behind it. And it doesn't surprise me, because the work rate doesn't seem to be there when he's on the pitch. Now I also know, like, this Drifty from Coppish, shout out Team Coppish. Drifty would be very livid if he's watching this video right now, and I understand why he would be, because he's a big Divock Origi advocate. But I would really love to have a sit down with Drifty, and I would love him to give me some solid reasons to why Divock Origi benefits Liverpool Football Club. Now, this is where, when you bring circumstances back into the equation of what Liverpool's going through right now in terms of injuries and whatnot, can you really afford to sell anyone? That's why I'm saying to you, if it's possible that we could go out and replace Origi and get a better striker, because I feel like there's many strikers out there that Liverpool could most definitely get that plays to our style more, that would suit our team more than Divock Origi. Someone that doesn't need to have the team play to their strengths as such and can get involved in the game themselves. I feel like there's many more strikers out there that are better in them aspects than Divock Origi. That's just me. So I would sell Divock Origi. I don't know if I'd do it this January, but I said I would have sold him in the summer, especially if we got Werner, then most certainly, because we'd have Firmino, we'd have whatnot. We still have Ryan Brewster at the time as well. I would have rather kept Ryan Brewster over Divock Origi. I know he hasn't really looked amazing since he's joined Sheffield United, but he was younger, he had more promise, he was having a good pre-season, and I just feel like the ceiling's higher for the Ryan Brewster. And Divock Origi's only 25. I know he's not old, but I'm just saying, I think we have seen the best of Divock Origi in the Liverpool shirt, or at least in this Liverpool team. He'd probably be good for the bottom 10. Doesn't surprise me if he goes to a Crystal Palace and gets 20 goals, because he is a good finisher. He only needs few chances. He's probably, in fact, I say this all the time, Divock Origi is the only striker at Liverpool Football Club. And that has been the case since Ryan Brewster left. Because other than that, there's no other striker. Bobby Firmino's not a striker. Mo Salah's not a striker. Don't get me wrong, Mo Salah gets the goals like a striker, but we don't play him in a striker position. The only out-and-out number 9 that only needs a couple of chances to get a goal is Divock Origi. But how often does he get them chances? Not very often, because he doesn't suit our style of play. So when you come to me, well, James, you can say to me, James, we can't be selling anyone right now. You're taking the piss. We've got injuries left, right. You're the injury channel FC. So why are you saying, sell players? You should be wanting to keep of everyone. That's the only argument I feel like you can give me to why Divock Origi can stay. Anything else? Like what? Loyalty, mate. We're going for trophies. Like, I love Divock, and for that reason, when he retires, I would love him to be an advocate. I'd love him to come back. I'd love us to take care of him as one of our own, because that's the way I look at Divock Origi. But I cannot dispute there is better players out there that we can get. Really, really is. And I think he wants to go somewhere where he can get some first team football. So you come to the argument to me saying, oh, James, but we have got injuries. I give you the argument. Well, there's better options out there. So if Liverpool really wanted to, we can go and pursue that. Not only that, there's players who will come into the team and benefit the team more when they are on the pitch, more so than Divock Origi. And then not only have you got them things, but now you've got this new striker, a bit of new fresh air, someone who can compete for the team, get the fans excited. There's many reasons to why I can give you to why we should sell Divock Origi. Also, look at the last season or two. Divock Origi doesn't look that good when he's on the pitch. It's not like he's getting chances and missing them. He's just not getting anything. He might get the odd chance and he might get the odd goal, but name me one really, really good game that Divock Origi has had this season or last season. One really good game where you can leave that game and go, oh my goodness. And maybe there is one. I'm not saying he's had zero, but I just can't think at the top of my head. So I'm not shitting on Divock Origi. I hope I've made that clear. I just like debate. And if you feel free in the comments down below to disagree with me, mate. I'm not trying to come on here and act like I'm right. I just want to present the conversation. Divock Origi, stay or go? Let me know in the comments down below. But hopefully you did enjoy this video, people. Make sure you leave a like and make sure you subscribe if you did enjoy. And I want to mention this dead quick, because I mentioned it for the first time in my first show of LFC Talk Show. Make sure you go check that out. If you haven't, that was recorded or live streamed last night. You can now become a member of the channel. Link is in the description, top link. You can click on that, become a member, and just so you know, in future I'm gonna want to try and implement a bit of exclusive content for people who become members. But right now, it's simply just to support the channel, and I just want to reassure you, any people who support the channel, that's getting reinvested back into the channel to make it better. It's a new year, it's a new season. Well, not a new football season. We're halfway through our current one, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. It's like, I want to try and make this a lot better. Right now it's okay, but we will over time improve, and there's many things that I want to bring to the channel. So just be reassured, whatever you put into the channel goes back into you. But don't you worry, a like and a subscribe is very much enough, because there was someone who came on my live stream yesterday and they were like, James, I don't have the money to pay for the channel membership. I was like, that's fine. It's only there for the people who obviously can afford to support the show. If you can't afford to do it, then the like button is free and the subscribe button is free, yeah? And then that means the world to me. So thank you very much if you have even done that. But even just leaving a like on this video would mean the world. But anyway, people, thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Peace out.